Namaskar. Welcome to another edition of Now Vimash podcast. So we are back with our book reading sessions. So today we are going to continue our reading for this book, Indian Borders at Stake: Citizenship and Illegal Immigration, by Mr. Sanjay Koshal, who is an academic teaches in Eastern India, and it's a very small book. I think we read the chapter, if I remember correctly, we read the chapter 4. We read the chapter 4, borders breach impact of incursion. So this was the chapter we read just in our last reading session. So today we're going to read the chapter 3, and the chapter 3 is this. Chapter 3 is volatility of demographic change. So I think people who are our audience and people who are joining new, they would know that after 2024 elections, PM Narendra Modi had mentioned this in his Independence Day speech, that the demographic change which is happening in India, specifically on the borders of India, in West Bengal and also in the northeast regions of Assam, specifically Assam, where we have seen the large influx of illegal immigration from Bangladesh, specifically Bangladeshi Muslims and Rohingya Muslims who have been settled in collusion with a few uh, unwanted elements within the state. People who are giving them identity cards, Aadhaar cards, voter ID cards, and they are being also facilitated with uh, various schemes which government has. So this illegal immigration, specifically from the eastern border of West Bengal, has been a hot point, and you know that there is election going to happen in West Bengal, where this illegal, what we call in Hindi, they call Ghuspetia. Uh, so these illegal Bangladeshi migrants who have now spread across, including state of Jammu. In Maharashtra, we have seen a lot of uh, include, anti-encroachment drives going on, where they are evicting the illegal Bangladeshi Muslim migrants, Rohingyas who are occupying, and also taking away jobs of the local people. They are into crime. They are into a lot of other illegal activities. So demography change of India, where we seeing a sharp decline in the Hindu populations in the border regions of West Bengal. And in the BJP's campaign, also, we have seen that in the latest election which happened in Bangladesh, Jamaat-e-Islami, a terrorist radical group in Bangladesh, they have won a lot of seats in the regions where the border between India and Bangladesh lies, the districts which border align them. So they do constitute a security threat, an instability threat to the national integrity and security of India. So how this demography change is going to impact the challenge of keeping India safe and secure for its native people. So this chapter 3 is the volatility, how the volatility is created, and what can be done about it. So let's read, and do keep your chats, questions coming in. Chapter 3: Volatility of Demographic Challenge. So, page 61. Chapter 3: Volatility of Demographic Challenge. Demography, the statistical study of human populations, warrants critical attention in any nation. Using census information, surveys, and statistical models, demographers examine the size, distribution, movement, and composition of populations. The term demography defines the current trends of the population in a given area and influences every aspect within that area. We'll talk about this. We'll just start reading, then we will take also question and comments. So keep them coming. It holds the key to any change within the realm of society. Now, why demography change is important, why we need to talk about it. So it says the term demography defines the current trends of the population in a given area and influences every aspect within that area. The demography of any area which people reside, the compositions, Hindus, Muslims, Christians, other people, how the demography was there previously and how it has changed, it is going to define every aspect within that area. It holds the key to any change within the realm of society. Demography is going to impact your society as well. The concept of modern day states makes this idea even more relevant. For a deeper understanding of different nations, one must delve into the study of demography. Furthermore, it connects with the social, political, religious, legal, educational, cultural, and other dynamics of that particular nation. Democracy and national character is also interlinked. In the context of demography, it is important and relevant to understand the concepts of nation, nationality, and nationalism. This understanding will help us better comprehend the case of India. A nation is a land where different sets of people coexist with common interest. Now, focus on this specific word. Sets of people coexist with common interests and governed uh, governed by the same government. So, if you have a population, take an example of Bangladeshi illegal immigrants and Rohingyas who do not have any common interest with the people living in India. They have a different kind of ideology. Most of them are engaged in a lot of anti-India activities. There are a lot of criminal elements which are involved in this, and they do. We have seen they have done a lot of illegal activities within India. So that causes a rift in society itself, and it causes also the national character to have a adverse impact. They typically share, so again, this is very important. They typically share a common history, ethnicity, and culture. The demography within the region we are talking about, in general, they will be sharing the population which live. They typically share a common history, ethnicity, and culture. Now, with the illegal immigrants, immigrants from Bangladesh, specifically Bangladeshi Muslims and Rohingyas, not they are ethnically similar to us, nor they have any historical links, nor they have a culture which is similar to us. So these are all become a kind of conflict points if they live in large numbers within India. Nationality is the legal connection attached to an individual who belongs to a particular nation. Nationalism is a core concept with various subjective definitions. However, this concept establishes an ideological and psychological connection between an individual and the nation, prioritizing national interest over individual interest. Today, governments across the world attempt to protect the demography of different states as this fact is directly related to the identity of a nation. So, take the example of Bangladesh, Pakistan, and India. Pakistan is the Muslim majority nation where the demography states that they in Pakistan you have 98% Muslims. In Bangladesh, it is similar in terms of numbers, maybe not as good as Pakistan, but still there are Hindus are very minority, and also others Buddhist and tribals. Now, Bangladesh national character identity is derived from its Muslim majority population. Same way with India. India being a Hindu majority nation, its character, its nationality its culture is derived from its demography of majority Hindus. Now, what happens if this balance changes? Now it becomes a national security threat. It redefines the national character. Any major alteration could lead to uncontrollable changes. Demography change leads to uncontrollable changes, which is generally avoided. So you don't want uh, nations to actually change their demography in a short span, but in large numbers. Meanwhile, advocates of a free world seek to dilute these concepts. Demographic transition is an ongoing and constant process that operates in the background. Any negative influence can have a cascading effect and damage the prospects of a strong population. This is why nationalist or right-wing groups worldwide place a strong focus on this aspect and subject. Positive demographic growth has various objective and subjective parameters. Now, what is positive demographic growth? Has various objective and subjective parameters, which play an important role in assessing the status of society. Societies that experience demographic degeneration and do not pay adequate attention to maintaining these important parameters tend to decline. As mentioned earlier, this issue becomes increasingly important in the modern day. The importance of demography is crucial for maintaining the sovereignty and integrity of a nation. Absolutely. So, again, this is a very important point. The importance of demography is crucial for maintaining the sovereignty and integrity of a nation. Why uncontrolled illegal immigration can lead to a state losing its sovereignty and integrity. Take an example of, let me actually show you something which actually gives a better understanding. In the meanwhile, let me also share the book details as well. Okay, now this is a very important data that I wanted to share it with you guys. Let me just share my screen. So, why demography is very important? See, if you see here, Jordan is a Muslim majority country in the East Asia region. Now, what it says, there is no official census data on the exact number of Palestinians. So, Palestinians, Arabs who live on the Judean plateau. So, but estimates vary significantly depending on the definition of Palestinian, that is, registered refugees versus those with Palestinian ancestry. Total estimate. Many sources, including Minority Rights Group International, estimates there are about 3 million Palestinians in Jordan. Some unofficial estimates suggest they make up between 50 to 70% of Jordan's population. So, when the influx of Palestinians happened due to wars in the state of Israel and the Palestinian territories, a lot of Palestinians who fled to Jordan. Now, Jordan had their own population. So, now with the influx of refugees from Palestinian territories, now Jordan has a skewed demographics where the Palestinians are between 50 to 70%. So now the native people of Jordan are soon going to be in minority if this continues. So now again, the Jordan nation, which had its own character in terms of its own traditions, culture. is going to be overrun and is going to be replaced by the majority Palestinians who have a different kind of culture and perspective and thinking. So this is why uncontrolled immigration or importing human from other regions is going to make sure that the nation may not survive. The nationality, the character also will be changing. So this is just one example of this. So, and we are seeing in Europe what is happening in England. So in that context, it is very important so that the demographic changes are scrutinized and they are balanced accordingly. We will discuss them. So let's just read a few pages and then we will slowly I will give you more context. In warfare, the opposing side targets the demographics of their enemy and strives to disrupt them. Now, how demographics is used in warfare? In warfare, the opposing side targets the demographics of their enemy and strives to disrupt them. Propaganda machinery and structured manipulation are involved in this process. An attempt is made to alter the population by infiltrating antagonistic individuals as part of the demographic makeup. What is happening in India? You have Bangladeshi Muslims and Rohingya Muslims who are, in general, antagonistic towards the culture of India, the Hindu society. They are being systematically pushed into India to actually become a weapon for anti-India forces. And we have seen there was I think in Nagpur there was a riot happened, and where the people who were involved in the riot were Bangladeshis. So now, how they are being used to disturb law and order, to burn properties of Hindus. Collective belonging among the population plays a significant role in fostering the principles of national interest. Today's circumstances make it almost impossible to draw a dichotomy between citizenship and demography. Both concepts are deeply interconnected. Citizens share a common identity that binds them together. A consciousness of oneness brings with it both responsibilities and duties. Citizens are instilled with the values of nationalism. So, take an example: when somebody becomes an American citizen, they take oath on on the national anthem of America. So, people who are naturalized Americans, they are tested. Are their values, are their ethics perspective aligned with the American perspective, with the major population of the people who call themselves American culture, American traditions? Only then they become citizens of America. So this alignment of cultural identity of populations and how immigrants become part of that milieu of culture of nation, that also very important. So in that context, citizenship is also part of the demographics itself. Citizens are instilled with the value of nationalism. The larger objective behind this is to maintain and protect the demographic order of the nation and to work towards its welfare. Various actors pose a challenge to this order. Religio political forces play an important role here. The different Abrahamic religions, such as Islam and Christianity, perceive it as a danger to their expansionism. Nationalism is the enemy of Abrahamic forces, which includes Islam and Christianity. Conversely, various political ideologies, particularly the communist ideology of Karl Marx, are critical to these concepts as they advocate for global oneness while undermining others' practical factors. For these reasons, India faces significant challenges related to demographic disturbances. A local, a local to international nexus. Okay, now this is important. A local to international nexus is working to weaken the nation. India faces significant challenges related to demographic disbalance. What's happening? A, a local to international nexus is working to weaken the nation. A substantial amount of funding is provided by foreign actors to create instability. Several religious institutions aim to liberalize government policies and act as catalysts in this venture. It has been observed worldwide that these demographic disturbances can even lead to the extinction of a country's population or civilization. How demographic changes can lead to extinction of the native population or the civilization. The dominant forces that take over the majority of the population impose their principle on the subdued groups. For example, before the advent of Islam in the present day Afghanistan, Hinduism and Buddhism flourished. So Afghanistan, before becoming almost a Muslim majority country in ancient time, was a Hindu Buddhist kingdom. However, after centuries of planned persecution, these faiths now represent a negligible percentage of the population. There are almost no Hindus left in Afghanistan, and also there are no Buddhists in Afghanistan, and also there are no Sikhs. Although a large section of Hindus lives, although now the problem area, although a large section of Hindus lives in denial and do not perceive the danger, ignorance does not change the reality, and the threat is real. An existential crisis is the most significant form of crisis for a human. And the final stage of demographic shift leads to this situation. We must we have hundreds of recorded historical anecdotes to substantiate this claim. This is one of the reasons why the BJP in states like West Bengal, Assam, Jharkhand, Bihar, and Tripura is trying to highlight and avert the situation. In these states, the problems have already come to the forefront. The demographic change. The demography of several districts now, this is important when we are talking about how demography change actually alters the ground situation. The demography of several districts in these states has changed sharply over time, which in turn is affecting the overall demography of the state. Illegal immigrants are spreading evenly across different districts and later into various parts of the country. The peril posed by this issue has reached a stage where they choose the political party that serves their interests. Now, this is where the society and the people, the native people of the land, are suffering. How they're suffering. The peril is posed by the issue has reached the state where the immigrants, the illegal immigrants, they choose the political party that serves their interest. In fact, the situation has deteriorated to such an extent that these illegal immigrants can easily obtain official documents that only an Indian citizen can possess. An organized network facilitates this process, ironically, with the state patronage of certain jihadi political parties. Now, how does the concept of jihadi political parties come about? Because of the people who are coming into India from our eastern borders of Bangladesh, they are of jihadi mentality. So they are being supported by the jihadi political parties, which party you all know. State patronage of certain jihadi political parties in the country. From the moment they cross the border to settling in different parts of the country. Everything is well organized and happens at minimal cost. Various raids conducted by central government agencies, police, and other organizations have uncovered such networks. They come to our country and work for much lower wages. Now, how the unchecked illegal immigration will cause damage to people like us who are natives, because we will be removed from our jobs, because these people work at lower wages. So the native people will become jobless, typically in the informal sector. It has been widely noted during these raids that they work as laborers, domestic help, drivers, artisans, etc. They possess various fake documents such as Aadhaar cards, PAN cards, driving licenses, and ration cards. The most striking document is their voter ID card. Now, as per Indian Constitution, only an Indian citizen can possess and should be able to vote. How these illegal immigrants are getting voter ID cards and how they are able to vote? That is the question. Voter ID cards, which grants them the right to vote in India. This makes it clear why Islamist political parties do not want any action taken against them. So these illegal immigrants, primarily Bangladeshi Muslims and Rohingyas, are creating Islamist political parties within India. So we are looking at another Pakistan being born in India. The problem becomes even more complex as they impersonate Bengali Hindus. In, ca- in cases where the women work as maids, they wear shakha and pala, which are traditional bangles worn by Bengali Hindu women. They also apply vermilion and act as Hindus. For an average person, it is extremely difficult to differentiate these illegal immigrants due to this deception. See, who are teaching these illegal immigrants what to do, how to do, and how to act? This cannot be an organic, it's a well oiled machinery. They have adopted a model of migrating to big cities like Delhi, Gurugram, Mumbai, Bengaluru. Now, these illegal immigrants who are coming from the eastern borders have gone to various cities, and they are become a national security threat to India. Mumbai, Bengaluru, Hyderabad, and Chennai. While Kolkata remain their natural choice, the extent of their reach is such that they are trying to change the demography of western Uttar Pradesh, Uttarakhand, Himachal Pradesh. For this reason, illegal settlements and the slum problem are increasing. In states like West Bengal, Assam, Jharkhand, Bihar, and Tripura, the situation is becoming increasingly challenging. These states have a very high number of illegal immigrants, often estimated to be in multi crores. Their population in these states alone accounts for more than that of many major countries in the world. They are often seen to have fertility rate that is much higher than the average total fertility rate, meaning that they produce many offsprings to further their mission of increasing their numerical strength. The primary reason behind this is to become a significant political power and to have stronger voting power. In a democracy, political leaders and their parties are completely dependent on votes. Parties that engage in appeasement politics want this phenomena to continue, undermining the fact that it poses a national threat. In West Bengal's district of Malda and Murshidabad, the situation has worsened to such an extent that Hindus are being forced to migrate and leave their properties behind. They are directly facing the consequences of this problem. Gradually, this issue is spreading to different parts of the country. The Dhubri region and parts of lower Assam are facing the same problem. But it is the BJP government of Assam that has kept the situation under control, unlike the TMC government of West Bengal. Several TMC ministers, MPs, and MLAs openly threaten Hindus and warn them now. political parties and what they are doing. Several TMC ministers, MPs, and MLAs openly threaten Hindus and warn them of consequences. They encourage the Hindu population to surrender to Muslims. The hate speeches given by political leaders are deplorable and directly violate constitutional principles. This has created a sense of fear within the Hindu community. It has reached a point where illegal immigrants are supported by the government over Hindus. The case of Jharkhand is no different. Current Jharkhand Mukti Morcha JMM-led government is doing the same thing, especially in the regions of Santhal Pargana. A party that claimed to be savior of the tribal does not voice concerns about illegal immigration. In Jharkhand, illegal immigrants receive direct support from the government. In both cases, the Calcutta High Court and the Jharkhand High Court have pointed out the menace of illegal immigration multiple times. However, the respective governments run by the TMC and JMM do not pay heed to these warnings. For the sake of vote bank politics, they are undermining the demographic order of the state. Demographic change in the country is a harsh reality and could lead to an existential crisis if not kept in check. It is ironic how the global narrative portrays India as a country where a Muslim minority is oppressed while individuals from Islamic countries are illegally entering India. This again serves as propaganda to demean and defame the Hindu population, who have remained tolerant for centuries. This situation gives rise to law and order issues in the region. Illegal immigrants become involved in criminal networks, what I had spoken about a little bit earlier, that these illegal immigrants in general become, because they do not have hold valid documents, they become part of the illegal criminal networks and commit various types of crime. Their activities are not limited to threats, looting, and fake currency rackets. Heinous crimes such as murder and rape are also not exceptions. Various investigations have repeatedly found that they are involved in drug smuggling and flesh trade. They earn substantial amount of money by running drug cartels across the country. Patronage comes from both international and national players who profit from these operations. Supply networks operate throughout the country, gradually affecting the Indian populace. As the youth are primarily targeted, this threatens to destroy a generation. Take the Punjab as an example. Okay, so a drug problem is a very important problem, and how Punjab is being destroyed uh, by menace of drugs. So let me just get that. So here is the drug issue in Punjab. The drug crisis in Punjab is considered a major public health emergency, with an estimated 15.4% of population engaged in some form of substance abuse, as per, and now this is official government figure. Generally, the numbers are quite high. Now, what are, I think it would be around 30 to 40%, because the governments generally would not report the accurate numbers, and they will be less. But what happens? Key trends and stats. This is 2024 versus 26. Now we are seeing hard drugs are being consumed, and now this is now this destroys a whole generation, a population. How smuggled? They are smuggled from Pakistan. Now, again, this is interesting. Pakistan is waging a war. How the war is being waged? Drugs are being smuggled from Pakistan and given to Punjab in the region, and then they get distributed. It gets consumed in Punjab, and also it is shipped to other states. So, and now and these immigrant people are also in this trade. So if you look at it, how dangerous the problem is of illegal immigration and how it affects you and me as well. It is not something happening in the border areas. It is going to down the line. It is going to destroy the society, the economy, the jobs, and end of the day, people are like this generation and next generation is going to get affected by this. As the youth are primarily targeted, this threatens to destroy a generation and it must be addressed before it becomes an uncontrollable problem. Human trafficking, one of the most horrific crimes which takes place, and how illegal immigration is linked to human trafficking. Human trafficking is a global problem, and those involved are key stakeholders in it. The buying and selling of humans in now in this 21st century, we have to hear these things, we have to witness these things. People are being sold and bought like a slave, which has been now abolished. The buying and selling of humans, especially women, are prevalent, and victims are further pushed into the darkness of the forced labor or prostitution. These individuals show little fear of the law. They have been apprehended multiple times by authorities for committing such activities. As lawbreakers, they engage in various forms of illegal trade, which provide them with both easy and substantial financial gains. The worst part is the advocacy they receive from certain political parties, religious institutions, and civil society organizations. These groups are aware of the activities and the menace the country faces due to them, yet they continue to offer support due to their vested interests. It is often found that these individuals have connections to terrorist organizations as part of the global terror network. They galvanize terror activities according to directives from their organizations and religious leaders. Many are members of dangerous terror groups such as Jamaatul Mujahideen Bangladesh (JMB), Al Qaeda, Ansarul Bangla Team, and the Islamic State. These organizations have been directly involved in many horrific terror attacks in India. Their members are both active participants and sleeper cells, with local logistical support provided by organizations like the PFI, SIMI, and others. This situation contributes to the radicalization problem in India. These groups have direct access to Indian madrasas and receive support from Maulvis and ulemas. Through a strategic through a strategic approach, they radicalize Muslim children and youth, motivating them to join the cause of jihad. This has led to Assam government under BJP leader Hemanta Biswa Sarma to reform the madrasas. His government his government opposes the use of these institutions for Islamic radicalization. These activities lead to communal conflict in India. Radicalization plays a significant role in disturbing the peace and harmony of society. The Modi government is also attempting to thwart the funding system supporting these activities. Such strong measures by the government have rattled radical forces. However, in non BJP ruled states like West Bengal and Jharkhand, these groups seem to operate with relative impunity. In both these states, these powers have a direct influence over state policies. They receive both direct and indirect support from the state government to continue and maintain their activities. Due to appeasement politics, the political parties ruling these states do not consider the future consequences of their actions. Driven by immediate political interests, they are compromising their state and ultimately the nation. There are several schools in both states where traditional prayers have been replaced by Islamic prayers. Now, why why illegal immigrants are going to affect us and our children? our future generations. Why? Because their numbers mean that there are several schools in both states where traditional prayers have been replaced by Islamic prayers. 5 days are designated as day off to appease Muslims, and non Muslim students are treated in a hostile manner. Female students do not feel safe and drop out of school for these reasons. This radicalization problem begins at the educational level and, and permeates throughout society. In the Santhal Pargana region of Jharkhand, Muslim men have married tribal women and gained tribal rights. They encourage these women to contest local body elections. After the women win, these men consolidate political power in the area. There are specific places known as Jamai Tola where these Muslim men have married tribal women and maintained control. Innocent Adivasi girls fall prey to the tactics employed by these manipulative men who are working towards a larger objective. Such practices are promoted by religious and political leaders. Due to BJP's intervention, these activities are kept in check. Otherwise, they would occur more rampantly. In India, communalization of politics is not a new phenomenon. It has been perpetuated by radical Islamic forces since the political system replaced the traditional monarchical order. Separate electorates demanded by Muslims paved the way for the complete communalization of Indian politics. The peaking of this communalization resulted in the balkanization of the country by the Muslim League and Congress Party. It was loss for Hindus in every possible manner. They lost both their lives and their holy motherland. After India's independence and partition, Hindus once again conveyed a message of peace and tolerance by maintaining India as a secular country. Unfortunately, the principles of secularism espoused by the Congress governments equated secularism with anti Hindu stance. Over the decades, anything that was pro Muslim and sidelined anything that was pro Muslim and sidelined Hindu interests became the norm. This prompted Hindus to bend backwards to maintain harmony in society, while Muslims became accustomed to ongoing appeasement. Any party that did not appease them would be branded as non secular by Muslims and their supporting forces, such as the communists. It is alleged that Indian Muslims support illegal immigration, both directly and indirectly. They assist these immigrants in settling down by adhering to the rules of Ummah. If this is true, it is highly unfortunate as it indicates that religious interests are placed above the national interest, which is against the spirit of India. Critics argue that Indian Muslims were highly vocal during the Rohingya crisis in Myanmar, but remained deafeningly silent over the issue of Kashmiri Pandits. These selective protests raise several pertinent questions. Intellectuals from certain universities and other elite institutions provide protection to them by using literature as their weapon. Legitimate questions cannot be posed as doing so would be seen as violation of secularism. This indicates that India has a misplaced notion of secularism. It is supposed to promote coexistence among all religions, while the state should not favor any particular religion. However, it has become a constant source of Hindu bashing. The situation is such that speaking against Islamic terror is considered a sin. Meanwhile, the same group of people attempt to label Hindus as terrorists without any substantiating evidence. This goes unquestioned because secularism in India is applied only in certain contexts and favor of Muslims. After 2014, Hindus have witnessed a resurgence, and after the dark ages of Congress, they are now free to raise questions. During the dreadful attack of 2611, which involved global Islamic terrorist networks, including those from Pakistan and Bangladesh. The leaders of the Congress government tried to portray it as an act of terror by Hindus and the RSS to weaken the noble work done by RSS at the ground level. This move was made to brand an organization that works for social welfare as a terrorist organization. Such is the tolerance of Hindus, they never avenge. This There was a call, so sorry. The RSS, however, kept itself out of the feud and continued to work among the masses, especially the downtrodden. But the accusation was serious and criminal in nature. Unfortunately, those behind this act are still roaming freely without any consequences. Unfortunately, those behind this act are still roaming freely without any consequences. They don't even seem to be apologetic for the shameful act. The myth of Hindu terror ended by this act. Yet, these same people, despite having proof, did not call out Islamic terror. Such is the level of hypocrisy that secularism has created in India. It is now easier to understand the crisis that India is experiencing due to appeasement politics and politics surrounding the secularism. The threat to Indian identity is due to the short sightedness of political parties. Now, very interesting point. The threat to Indian identity is due to the short sightedness of political parties. This is an issue where different political parties should unite and work for the common interest of the nation, as it presents a collective danger to the country. Demographic changes in terms of religion and intrusion from foreign countries can potentially destroy the fundamentals of India's growth. The major reason behind continuation of this problem is the political will of the parties that benefit from the vote bank they have created among these intruders. For example, the Modi government wants to fence the remaining part of the Indo-Bangladesh border. It has proposed several times to increase surveillance and overall border security, but the TMC government creates impediments to this work. Land acquisition is the task of the state government, but they tend to delay the process indefinitely. The TMC government is also accused of not cooperating with the border security forces and harassing them in several instances. The infrastructure required by the forces to secure the borders has been outrightly denied by the state government. There are several critical locations where fencing work is pending, and the state government wants it to remain this way. The state police, which comes under TMC government, does not provide necessary assistance to the BSF in curbing cross-border crimes. Instead, under the direction of TMC leaders, they assist intruders in channeling the crime network. It is alleged that both the party and the police benefit from these crimes as they receive kickbacks. The TMC government is taking steps to dilute Bengali Hindu identity of West Bengal, for which Dr. Shah Prasad Mukherjee fought against Islamist forces. They are hostile towards the BSF and their leaders, including Party Supremo Mamata Banerjee, make statements against the BSF. It is a matter of shame that unnecessary questions are raised against our forces who are trying trying their best to protect our frontiers. Historically, both Congress and Communist Party are also blamed for the challenge at the Indo-Bangladesh border. They never took adequate steps and silently supported this issue to maintain their vote bank. If the border had been fenced by these governments when they were in power, the demographic challenge that looms large today could have been mitigated at an earlier stage. However, due to vote bank politics and collusion with Islamist forces, this practice continued. They formed associations with local mosques and madrasa to secure the votes of these intruders. The party that could appease these intruders the most would gain the maximum number of votes. Bengali Hindus have already lost a great deal in the past. primarily due to Islamic radicalization. The land has come the land that has come to them after so many sacrifices is now under attack. The communist rule of West Bengal intellectually deprived Bengali Hindus of their sense of identity as Sanatanis. They projected and inculcated values that suggested being Hindu was shameful. All these are done by communists. We have a lot of people who hail communists as noble persons. This is the noble act of communists, all while maintaining their appeasement politics for Muslims. Today, West Bengal is facing an identity crisis, a consequence of the misgovernance by Congress, the Communist Party, and the Trinamool Congress. The TMC is exacerbating exacerbating. The TMC is exacerbating the situation by openly supporting and acting as guardians for illegal immigrants. In the event of any action taken against these immigrants, the entire party begins to condemn it. This indicates that they will never act against illegal immigrants themselves, but when the Bharatiya Janata Party BJP demonstrates political will, they create a drama around it. The Citizenship Amendment Act (CAA) was passed in 2019 to grant rights citizenship rights to persecuted Hindus, Sikhs, Buddhists, Christians, and Jains from Pakistan, Bangladesh, and Afghanistan. It corrected a historical blunder of the Congress government. India lost these territories due to Congress policies, and the minorities in these countries, unlike the Muslims in India, who enjoy every possible right, fell victim to the Islamist sword. They endured the worst types of crimes and torture. Unfortunately, the CAA met with hostility from Islamist political parties in India. Who are the Islamist political parties in India? To appease their Muslim vote bank, parties such as Congress, TMC, JMM, RJD, SP, AAP, and others created a mess out of the situation. Insensitive to the problem faced by minorities, they made illogical arguments. The height of appeasement was reached when these parties questioned the government's intention regarding the denial of citizenship to Muslims, equating with with victims. Several instances unrest Several instances of unrest erupted across the country following the passing of this law. Shaheen Bagh in Delhi became the focal point of these protests, with Muslims, backed by Islamist political parties, demonstrating against the CAA. Primarily led by Muslim women, these protests were portrayed as mark of resistance, but they essentially reflected animosity towards Hindus and other minorities. In fact, after partition, many individuals could not come to India for various reasons despite facing persecution. Several factors contributed to this, primarily lack of access and unavailability of resources, leading to their arrival in India at different times. Frustration among the Islamists reached its peak, leading to anti-national activities, including hate speech that called for altering the map of India, threats against Hindus, and various other forms of intimidation. Ultimately, this resulted in riots by Muslim mobs across Delhi, where Hindus were targeted and attacked by the rioting Muslims. The unrest created a state of chaos, but the situation was brought under control by the Modi government almost immediately. During the investigation of these riots, it was found that they were well planned and aimed at creating unrest throughout the country. Various foreign actors were involved, and Muslim political leaders, clerics, scholars, and others were directly behind it. Political parties with history of supporting the Islamists sided strongly with the Muslim rioters. Hindus were brutally murdered and many others were injured in the attacks. However, these incidents do not seem sufficient to break the myth that Muslims are the persecuted minority in India. They enjoy all rights and have often shown aggression towards Hindus. Yet they have constructed a powerful narrative and ecosystem that supports them. This ecosystem tends to whitewash their crimes and present the situation as if Hindus are to blame in every instance. If Hindus were truly intolerant, they would have retaliated strongly in the aftermath of partition, causing significant harm to the Muslim population. The most striking chant during this anti-CAA protest was "Hinduon se azadi," freedom from Hindus, which means freedom from Hindus. This instilled a sense of fear in the majority community, which has witnessed the actions of Islamists and how they have historically behaved. The mob was so ruthless during the riots that they invoked religious calls of fanaticism and killed Hindus mercilessly. If such events had occurred in a Muslim majority country involving Muslims, a genocide against the minority community was likely to have ensued. There is a possibility that illegal immigrants also joined the protest in various parts of the country. It is ironic to think of Bangladeshis and Rohingyas protesting against CAA. An alarming situation could definitely arise if India does not act against these forces. Otherwise, they may operate in a disguised manner as Muslim citizens of India, ultimately influencing the policies of the country. India has a moral responsibility towards the non Muslims of Pakistan, Bangladesh, and Afghanistan. It cannot afford to succumb to the pressure of Islamists who want to hijack the country and dream of establishing Ghazwa-e Hind, a concept that essentially advocates for making today's India Islamic and covering non-Muslim and converting non-Muslims into Muslims. Their intellectuals have formed their intellectuals have formed this concept, and their foot soldiers are working hard to turn it into reality. The passing of CAA was a significant blow to these forces. They viewed they view it as an impediment to achieving their dream. For years after 2014, they sought opportunities to create disturbances in India, having been unsuccessful in this endeavor since Narendra Modi came to power. These riots coincided with the arrival of US President in India. The Islamists were all aware that a global media was present in the state capital, making this timing perfect for their agenda. Demography holds a key to the survival of the nation. If it is further fractured by any forces, the non-Muslims of India, especially Hindus, would face a serious crisis. We have historical evidence to support this, as no one could have imagined such an occurrence before partition of India. The condition of minorities in these countries serve as a warning for what could happen to Hindus of India in the future. It is a wake-up call for Indian nationalists to unite against these intruders and fight them with full force. If we succeed in coming together, no political party can protect these intruders or extend any form of patronage to them. Protecting the concept of Indian nation is the need of the hour. So this ends the chapter 3. Okay, now let's see. Okay, so so this yeah, there is a lot of hue and cry about sending fuel oil to Bangladesh, but the internal politics should not be mixed with international politics. So, like, let me give an example. We all know, correct? The Iran Supreme Leader Khomeini, he had made a lot of bad comments, damaging comments against India when there was a issue with Kashmir, where the Iranians and the Supreme Leader Khomeini had sided with the Pakistan, who actually supported Pakistan on the issue of Kashmir. Now, the same Iranian government today is saying that we will not harm the ships, the oil tankers, which are of Indian. like oil tankers which are taking oil to India, they will not be harmed. So international politics is complex. You cannot do one plus one with politics of nations. So there will be issues. There might be some good things, bad things why this has been done, but we as laypersons may not know enough what's happening in the back end, and we generally refrain from commenting on this because you don't know, nor you or I do not know what's happening in the back end. So there might be good things may happen later while this has been done. But yes, as citizens, you and I have the right to actually tell the government we don't agree with that policy, and that's absolutely fine. People agree or disagree, that's their right to express their opinions. But we should not force tell the government what to do, because nor you nor anybody has the expertise, the information to act on this. Yes, it is very bad indeed. Okay, this is interesting. Is there any law to penalize Bangladesh for sending immigrants to our country? I don't think that that kind of law exists. That correct. So you can have actually sanctions. Okay, just hold on for a second. I need to take this call. Yes, sorry for this disturbance, but we are planning a podcast on this specific issue of demography change in the border districts of West Bengal. So we're going to have a discussion on tomorrow. Tomorrow we're going to have a podcast with a guest to discuss this specific issue where a lot of work is being done. So I had to take this call. Hmm. Okay, Siliguri, yes, Siliguri, you do have a lot of infiltrators. Malda and Murshidabad generally had a higher number of Muslim population, but it has increased. That is some which is already there. I think Mushida was a Muslim majority district since beginning, but it has gone bad. I am not sure about Punjab what's happening, but not done enough things. Okay, they are not radical. They are doing yes, exactly. Yes, of course. We had in Kolkata recently. She was doing a dharna, and she was like not openly, but what she meant was that if we go out of power, a certain community would come and hack you to death. So that was the kind of threats she has given to Hindus. So now it is apparent. Now she is doing it openly. Okay, are we really deport? Are we really deported anybody yet? I don't hear any. There have been a lot of deportations, but I don't think media is not covering it, or there are something. But whatever I know, a lot of people have actually left India voluntarily, and a lot of people have moved out of. So now, basically, they are going to Karnataka, Tamil Nadu, and southern states. But in northern states and other states, they have moved. Recently, we had Bihar elections, and in Bihar elections, you had Bihar elections. A lot of people who are Bangladeshi illegal immigrants, they were living in Patna and other Bihar regions. They fled. Actually. So it is having an impact. But let's see. See, this problem is not one day problem. The problem of illegal immigration is going on since the Congress era, the communist era. So it's a 30, 40-year old problem aggregating over time. So it will take time to fix it. But it's important that what the author tells, okay, or what the author is telling about Islamist parties, who they are. So we as voters need to be mindful whom we are voting for. So vote for the right kind of parties so that we don't have to, our children are not forced to recite Islamic prayers in schools. So thank you everybody for joining. Really appreciate. Do subscribe, do share to our channel. And tomorrow we have such other podcast coming up in Bengali, English, various things are coming. So stay tuned, subscribe. Thank you very much. Jai Shri Ram, Vande Mataram. Okay, last question we can take. Recently, my cousin said that if Bengalis don't vote TMC, that would be treacherous for Bengal. What should I do? Okay, what is that? Recently, my cousin said if Bengalis don't vote TMC, that would be treacherous for Bengal. Hmm. Tell your cousin what Mamata Banerjee has said from Kolkata, in the Kolkata, or just tell your cousin that you will have 1,000 Sandeshkhali incidents happening if TMC wins. And you know what happened in Sandeshkhali and Shahjahan Sheikh. Tell that that would be a common occurrence. It will become a Bangladesh practically. So if you do not want West Bengal to become West Bangladesh, vote wisely. Okay, thank you very much. Jai Shri Ram, Vande Mataram.